pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A 1 and 19 of the Code of Virginia as amended for discussion of the following: personnel and discussion of plans to protect safety as it relates to terrorist activity and briefings by staff members, legal counsel, or law enforcement or emergency service officials concerning actions taken to respond to such activity or related threat to public safety, or discussion of reports or plans related to the security of any governmental facility, building, or structure, or the safety of persons using such facility, building, or structure. Do I need a motion to go into? Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
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 Thank you. And with that, we are in closed session. Earlier, the school board convened and then went into closed session pursuant to the Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A1 and 2.2-3711A19 for personnel matters and security matters. We have returned to open session, and I need a motion from a board member to certify that in closed session we conducted it in accordance with the Code of Virginia 2.2-3712 and only discuss those matters as mentioned.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that the board only discussed matters in closed session as approved by the Code of Virginia in subsection 2.2-3712.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Benson. Mrs. Porter?
Yes.
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 Thank you very much. Now, Dr. Sears, do we have someone for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I believe we do. Thank you, Madam Chair. Do we have our student here? Okay. Carrie Phillips is the daughter of Terrence Phillips. She is 16 years old and a junior at Pulaski County High School. She is currently enrolled in Criminal Justice II and has taken other courses such as Auto Body and the CTE Center. Carrie has spent the last 2 weeks diligently preparing classmates to compete in Skills USA. She assisted one student immensely in studying for this competition and found ways to help him retain information that solely worked for him. Carrie is a positive student in the classroom and never fails to help a student that she sees needs assistance. She plans on continuing her study in criminal justice to prepare for a role as a conservation officer, formerly known as a game warden in Virginia. So would everyone please stand, and Carrie will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And Carrie, if you'll remain down there, I've got a certificate for you. Okay?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I believe we have some recognitions.
We do. If the board members would like to go to the front, we will start our recognition. February is the annual observance of School Board Appreciation. This is the time to salute the work of our school board members and their dedication to public education. The theme for this year's celebration, Rising to the Challenge, reflects the leadership of our school board members as they serve and advocate with local, state, and federal leaders on behalf of our faculty, staff, and students. Our 5 board members must develop policies, make tough decisions on complex education and social issues impacting the whole community, and bear the responsibility of the annual budget. Too often, we neglected to recognize the dedication and hard work of these 5 board members who represent Pulaski County Public Schools. Please help us celebrate our board members as they continue to pull together as a team toward the goal of helping every student succeed. Our board members are Ms. Becky Cox, Chair, Mr. Timothy Hurst, Vice Chair, Mr. William Benson, Dr. Paige Cash, and Ms. Penny Golden. Please join me in congratulating our board members. And thanks to all of you for these great gifts from the schools. And I assume that the flowers came from horticulture. Is that correct? Thank you all. Okay, our next recognition is for Employee of the Month. Pulaski County Public Schools and Pulaski County High School CTE Center are proud to recognize our Employee of the Month, Kathy Pakitas. As the ITRT that supports secondary teachers, Kathy is instrumental in helping CTE teachers develop virtual tools for instruction. She ensures grade books are set up properly, responds to teachers and administrators' calls when various technology is not working, and assists the division during the end-of-course testing. The colleagues that nominated her had this to say: Kathy is always helpful in a timely manner. I can ask the same question more than once, and she is always pleasant, patient, and professional. Another colleague said, I feel that Kathy has battled through rough days with a smile. She is always willing and ready to assist when called. With so many technology-based tools used in instruction, Ms. Pakitas is a valued member of our team. We are grateful for her service and want to congratulate her on being recognized as the CTE Center's Employee of the Month for February 2023. That is not Kathy. Pulaski County Public Schools and Pulaski County High School CTE Center are pleased to honor Laura Norris as Teacher of the Month. In addition to traditional classroom instruction, Ms. Norris also teaches health department regulations for serving food, OSHA guidelines for kitchen safety, and ServSafe Manager certification curriculum and basic customer service skills. She works to build and maintain relationships in the culinary arts industry, which results in her students being able to cater various events. The culinary arts program has cooked for the Pulaski County Chamber of Commerce, Volvo North America, various international companies touring the county on economic development visits, a state legislator, and a previous governor. Participants at each of her events compliment Ms. Norris on the quality of the food served as well as the professionalism of her students during the event. Whether her students go on to a career in the hospitality industry or just pick up cooking skills to provide meals at home, there's no question that her students leave her class ready for life after high school. She is a true team player. One of her colleagues said, Laura always has a smile and welcomes anyone to her classroom for any reason. She has been helpful when I have questions, being I'm new to PCHS this year. The faculty, staff, and students are lucky to work with Ms. Norris. For all the reasons stated above, we are proud to recognize her as the CTE Center's Teacher of the Month for February 2023. Next, our Senior of the Month. Pulaski County Public Schools and Pulaski County High School are pleased to recognize Austin Michael McGuire as Senior of the Month for February. Austin is the son of Jason and Rachel McGuire. Austin's nominating teacher stated that Austin is a natural leader and always contributes thoroughly to class discussions. He is passionate about becoming a teacher in Pulaski County after college. The way he builds relationships with all of our other students in our class and throughout high school will serve him well in his future as a future educator. His dynamic personality and ability to include witty humor into all of our class activities will make him an engaging and motivating teacher. While at PCHS, Austin has been heavily involved in theater arts. He enjoys acting and performing even during his free time. Upon graduation, Austin will attend Liberty University pursuing a teaching degree in social sciences. Please welcome our Senior of the Month. Pulaski County Public Schools is proud to honor Brianna Farmer as the PCPS Spelling Bee Champion. Brianna is a fifth grader at Riverlawn Elementary. She is the daughter of James and Chanel Farmer of Dublin, Virginia. Brianna will compete in the National Spelling Bee on Saturday, March 18th in the auditorium of William Fleming High School. We wish her the best of luck as she represents Pulaski County Public Schools. Our final recognition of the evening, Riverlawn Elementary is pleased to acknowledge Braden Grubb as he pursues the advancing to nationals in the 2023 Elks Shootout. Braden is a fifth grade student at Riverlawn Elementary School. The Elks Hoop Shootout program has been in existence for nearly 50 years. Each year, 6 hoop shootout national champions, 2 from each age group, have their names listed alongside their picture in a brand-new digital exhibit at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. 2 franchise national champions are also in attendance when the Hall of Fame inductees are honored at the enshrinement ceremony. To reach that level, they first had to win their local school competition. After that, they competed in the county level, then at the district level. 6 district level winners, 1 from each age group, advanced to the state level competition. At the state event, they compete against the district winners from across the state. Braden will represent Virginia in the Southeast Central Regional 10 Hoop Shoot semifinal on March 11th in Charlottesville, Virginia. Upon winning this competition, Braden will advance to the National Hoop Shootout competition on April 22nd in Chicago. Braden is the son of Meg Kemp and Jason Grubb. Not only is Braden talented athletically in the arena of basketball, he has remained an honor student his entire elementary career and demonstrates outstanding citizenship on a daily basis. Please join me in recognizing Braden. That's it. Yeah.
At this time, we come to the point in our meeting where we have an opportunity for the public to make comment. The first comment session will be for persons who wish to address the board regarding items that are on the current school board agenda. Items presented by citizens may be referred to the superintendent for research, who may report back to the school board at a subsequent meeting or through other communication. If you wish to comment about individual employees or their performance, please present your comments first to the superintendent. Such matters will not be discussed during an open board meeting. Please limit all comments to 3 minutes. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. Anyone wishing to speak may come forward now and present us with your name first. Not all at once. Okay. There will be another opportunity at the towards the end of the meeting for public comment again. At this point, we come to the approval of minutes. Earlier, the school board members had an opportunity to review the minutes for the January 10th, 2023 regular meeting, the January 25th, 2023 budget work session. Are there any changes or additions that anyone would like to make? Any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for January 10th regular school board meeting, as well as the work session on January 25th.
Thank you, Mr. Benson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Cash. Mrs. Porter?
Yes.
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 Thank you very much. Now, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chairwoman, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Dr. Cash. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Hurst. Ms. Porter?
Yes.
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 And we are at the consent agenda with the payment of bills and the personnel. Any discussion on either of those? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Golden. Mrs. Porter?
Yes.
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 And with that, we come to the instructional focus. Dr. Sears.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I will turn it over to Ms. Atkinson, who will be leading our instructional focus of the Career and Technical Center this evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, members of the board, Dr. Sears. We want to thank you for a chance to tell our story and share a little bit about what we have been up to in the CTE Center this year. If our presentation doesn't work, we have notes, so we can wing it.
I believe it's coming up.
Okay. Oh, there we go. So you can go ahead to the second slide. We're going to cover the items that we've identified as our points of pride for this year. The first being the starting of our emergency medical technician program. Then we're going to celebrate our teachers who have served on curriculum writing committees for the State Department of Education. We'll share a little bit about our Habitat for Humanity build, and then the student leaders that are sitting behind me will share the instructional update for the year. So our first program to celebrate is the EMT program. We started off this year still looking to begin the program. And about midway through the fall semester, we found an instructor. And with the partners that we have with the Claude Moore Foundation and the Blue Ridge Partnership for Health Sciences, we were able to start that program this year. Currently, we have donations from Pulaski County Public Safety. They've donated the box to an ambulance that was being retired, a stretcher, a lift, and our facilities department is in the process of building a platform so that when the ambulance box is installed in the lab space, it will be at ambulance height. So our students will have a true simulation lab in that space. Moving to the curriculum writing committee, I wanted to recognize our teachers that are revising curriculum at the state level. Mr. Farmer is on the curriculum review board for engineering 1, 3, and 5. Mr. Lundy served on a curriculum writing committee in music and sound production, which is a new course that the Department of Education is bringing into career and technical education. Ms. Pavan is on the curriculum writing committee for equine science and advanced equine science, and Ms. Roseberry helped update the early childhood education curriculum for intro, early childhood 1, and early childhood 2. And then the final piece that I will cover is the carpentry 2 and 3 students are still working on a home build. We've wanted to provide more real-world experience for our students, and through a wonderful partnership with Habitat for Humanity, Atmos Energy, Baseline Solar Solutions, Setter Construction, and the CTE Center, they're getting to do just that. So on a daily basis, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, as long as the weather permits, our carpentry 2 and 3 students are actually out on a job site in Dublin building a house. The exterior walls are done, the interior walls are done, and Mr. Hill is hopeful that in the next couple of weeks, they'll actually be able to start installing the trusses for the roof. At this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to our student leaders. Our first student to speak to you today is going to be Michaela Chandler. And I'll turn the microphone over to her.
My name is Michaela Chandler, and I'm one of the CTE representatives as well as an intern and student representative of the Chamber of Commerce. I just want to talk about our CTSOs. They're really an amazing tool to help prepare students for the workforce, and we have amazing programs that lead students in business, community, leadership. And CTE classes and their programs are co-curriculars. So that means they run in tandem with the classes and they are instructional. A few of these programs that we have and that we'll be talking about today are DECA, Educators Rising, FBLA, FCCLA, FFA, HOSA, Skills USA, and TSA. PCHS offers every CTSO available in the Commonwealth of Virginia, so that's definitely one of our points of pride. How do we, there you go. Since I am also the representative for DECA, I will be talking about what's been going on with us and the club itself. DECA is a business-oriented club where we compete in different fields such as marketing, hospitality and tourism, finance, and selling. We have recently, last year, partnered with Hodgepodge Cookies, which is an enterprise ran out of the electricity classroom, to raise money for those students to send them to states. Around all of our students that competed in regionals have qualified to travel to states and compete there. I used to be a shy little freshman in DECA, and that's probably the best decision I've ever made in my life, was to join that and be a part of that club. It really helps students be able to connect with their ability to speak in public. Like, I never would have done this other than if I hadn't have joined DECA. It's definitely widened my horizons, and even though we've reached the end, I still want to continue to implement the lessons that I've learned from this club. I'm now going to hand it over to Austin McGuire from Educators Rising.
Good evening. My name is Austin McGuire. Our Educators Rising course at the high school is quite a wonderful class, led by an amazing teacher. This is Ashley Hale, who's actually here tonight, right there in the back. Wow, you got an applause. I wasn't expecting that. I have taken both the introductory and dual enrollment classes for this course, and am beyond thankful for the opportunities it has presented for me. I entered this class with an inclination that I might want to be a teacher, but I had no idea what my plan was. It didn't take long for me to find that this is what definitely the career I needed to choose for myself. I have found in this class again what I have always known about me, that I love, live, and long for the ability to help people and make a difference. As an educator, I would like to pour out the goodness that this community and school system has poured into me. I entered this class without a clue what life after high school would bring me. Yet now I am going to be attending Liberty University online in the fall, on the road to becoming an educator, hopefully in this county. There really is so much to love about this course, from helping other educators around our school and our community with what we call Teacher Preparation Friday, which is where we take up jobs around our county schools and help our fellow educators prepare activities or design bulletin boards for their students. We also will be attending the Educators Rising Competition Seminar in Richmond on March 4th. We are all very excited for it and are very thankful for our carpentry department director, Mr. Hill, for making our bulletin board templates to take with us to Richmond for our competition. I truly am extremely grateful and will forever recommend this program for anyone who is interested in going into education, because it has truly led me down the path I was meant to take. I will leave you with this quote from Benjamin Franklin about what education is to me. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sydney Farley, and I am the president of FBLA. Our Future Business Leaders of America attended the annual regional fall conference in October at the Virginia Higher Education Center in Abington. They will be attending the annual spring conference on February 24th at George Wythe. FBLA members have been busy this year with their school-based enterprise, Candygrams. They have delivered over 130 Candygrams for Valentine's Day. I will turn over the mic to Brianna.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I'm representing FCCLA. What is FCCLA? Proudly, it stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. The purpose of our CTO is to prepare students to be productive members of their communities and families. We are the only CTSO that focuses on the family at the core. We work on various service projects throughout the year operating within our classrooms that help alternative hardships that impact families. We are a school-based enterprise. The skill acquired in our classroom provides students a real-world experience for students who want to enter the workforce upon graduation from high school, or provide a head start should a student choose to continue post-secondary studies. Students have the opportunity to earn national certifications through our FACS programs, which are PCHS, Early Childhood Education, and Culinary Arts and Catering. Now introducing Haley Scott.
Good evening. My name is Haley Scott, and I'm the president of the PCHS FFA chapter. This year, our chapter has been involved in a multitude of activities and events. In October, we had the opportunity to travel to Indianapolis for our 95th annual National Convention and Expo. This week, we are celebrating National FFA Week by hosting fun activities for our members and extending a thank you to all of our faculty and staff at PCHS. This spring, we will have students traveling all over the state to compete in career and leadership development events. We will celebrate National Ag in the Classroom's Ag Literacy Week by visiting with elementary schoolers across the county and host a thank you dinner for all of our program stakeholders and sponsors. We have also had the opportunity to assist in delivering locally sourced beef to all the schools in the county to be served for school lunches. In addition to these fun activities, we are also running a handful of student-run enterprises, consisting of Doggy Daycare, managed by our Small Animal Care and Veterinary Science classes, Pat's Patch, managed by our Horticulture classes, and Cardinal and Gold's Creation, Floral Shop, managed by our Floral and Floral Design courses. I'm now going to turn the mic over to Jeff.
All right. I am also the president of HOSA. Our HOSA members have been working hard to raise awareness for the recognized illnesses each month. They have put posters around the school to show support. Health Occupation Students of America went out into the community to show their support by purchasing needed items and supplies for the residents in Pulaski Health and Rehab.
Hi, I'm Lakin, and I'm the student representative for the Health Assistant Careers class. This class is a dual-enrolled class, and it gives you an opportunity to get a head start in college. In this class, we start off by learning the importance of caring for the people we will be taking care of after we start clinicals. We benefit by getting hands-on experience caring for residents that are in our community. By getting my CNA license, I've had the opportunity to work in a healthcare facility in the New River Valley and get an experience about what my future career will consist of. Being able to take this class and being in HOSA with hands-on learning experience has furthered my knowledge and my decision to further my health assisting career path. And this is Emily, and she'll be talking about pharmacy.
Okay, I'm the student representative of the pharmacy technician class. First, you begin with Pharmacy 1 and learning the basics of what pharmacy has to offer. Then you take the next step to Pharmacy 2. You will go more into depth with the basics of Pharmacy 1, and then you take the next step in learning in local pharmacies with clinicals, getting hands-on experience on what a technician entails with a Board of Pharmacy Technician training license. Taking this class has many benefit aspects in healthcare careers. Being in this class has given me an opportunity to work in a local pharmacy and potentially receive my National Pharmacy Technician license to help further my career to becoming a pharmacist.
Hello, my name is Joseph Burcham. I am the current president of Skills USA chapter of 2023. Skills you asked what Skills USA is. Skills USA is a partnership of students, teachers, and industrial workers together to ensure America's skilled workforce. We help each student excel. A nonprofit national education association, Skills USA serves a middle school, high school, and college post-secondary students preparing for careers to trade and technical and skilled service occupants. The Skills USA Foundation falls under carpentry, welding, automotive technologies, auto body, cosmetology. That is, that is most of our courses that the skills we do for. We also are about to continue to go to competition coming this April. We have many of our students going. I feel like this program opportunities a lot and gives you many options out in the workforce. Now I give it to
My name is Lucas Rose Fisher. I am a representative of the Technical Student Association here. Through the TSA-related programs at Pulaski County High School, we have found many practical applications for 3D modeling softwares and such, and 3D printers. One of these is a heart made by a student within our class. You can see many prototypes here in the finished product. If I'm led to believe that this also is in your bouquets. Another thing was a practical application of a bracket, which you can see. This is the design drawing. It was then designed in Tinkercad, one of the many programs we use. And as you can see on the bottom left of the slide, that is the application. It is used to hold up a basket. And there is another thing in that bottom left corner, a current design meant to mix a stand mixer. Oh, and here's some prototypes of that bracket that we printed out. Another project we are working on is currently CO2-powered dragsters, but we have another student here that will go more into detail. This is Evan Arms.
Hi, I'm Evan Arms, and we are currently working on CO2 dragsters like this one. This is the first one we decided to print, and so far it's been going well. We are going up against another teacher in CTE, Miller. He is using basswood instead of 3D printed parts, so which gives us an advantage because we are allowed to edit, and we can also determine what size and shape every part of it is. Now, this would have taken a lot longer to do out of wood than it would have out of this. Now, it does take more time, but that is just the price you have to pay. And another project is Ethan Kaiser.
So this project is a retro emulation console that I have been 3D designing in Mr. Farmer's class. So it has been in the works for a little over a month. And a retro emulation console like this one is built to mimic hundreds of other consoles that have been made before it. So the outer shell and interior mounts have been designed in Mr. Farmer's, and the electronics have been assembled and programmed in Mr. Compton's. So.
Got smart kids.
Now I will hand it off to our next student representative.
It's me again. As I mentioned earlier, I was an intern and representative of PCHS on the Chamber of Commerce. My journey with the Chamber started during the Luncheon with Leaders that all of the DECA students attended. I spoke to Mr. Cunningham, didn't really know who I was talking to at first, and kind of talked my way into being involved in the chamber. I've joined in on one real meeting so far, and it's been really nice to sit through and actually have a voice in what's going on in our community and be informed and also provide a fresher perspective and just a switch up of what it's been for over 5 years, because the chamber has not had a student representative in over 5 years. We discussed businesses that were taking place in the CTE building during the last meeting, where I presented the different enterprises that was happening, like Hodgepodge Cookies, as Haley mentioned, the doggy daycare, everything going on with FFA. And this communication is going to prove very beneficial for the community, for the chamber, and especially for our school. Doing this has opened so many doors for me. I've been giving so many opportunities. I recently just spoke to the upcoming 9th graders at the open house orientation for 8th graders rising into high school. I was talking about the CTE programs and what's going on in our building, and it was just really nice to be able to inform younger students of what was going on in that building and provide them with education of the different and amazing programs that they can get involved in. It's, like I said, it's been giving me a lot of new opportunities I never thought I would be able to do, especially standing right here talking here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how all of this pans out in the future. So, does anyone have questions for me or any of our student representatives? No, okay.
I just have a comment. I recently attended the elected officials breakfast with the Chamber of Commerce, and the president, Mr. Cunningham, talked about the partnership and could not say enough glowing things about it. And the other people attending were so excited to hear about how the CTE students were going to be partnering with businesses in the community and the Chamber of Commerce in order to further economic development in Pulaski County. So thank you for getting involved in that. I appreciate it as a citizen.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. Thank everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Next up is an update from our student representative.
All right. Good evening, members of the school board and Dr. Shears. So we've had many things happening at the high school recently, as you've heard from the other students here today. One that stuck out in my mind especially is the winter ball that we just had and the fundraiser that went along with it. This fundraiser, in my mind, was very successful as we raised $13,000 for an after prom this year. That is unknown where it's going to be held yet. But for those of you who may not know what after prom is, it's a safe place for the students of Pulaski County High School to be after prom, to continue being together with other students and in a safe place away from any potentially dangerous activities. Things that the money that we've raised will go towards. It'll be used for activities including a breakfast bar, is what's happened in the past, and prizes that will be given away at the end of after prom. So there have been concerns that have been brought up. So in order to
be allowed for many different reasons, one being cultural. As an African American student, I along with my fellow African American students, we wear bonnets to protect our hair, along with do-rags and head wraps, and I think that allowing them into school will it'll help continue to let us protect our hair and also could bring more students to school more often, because there are a lot of days where our hair just does not cooperate, and there will be days where we will skip school or we won't be able to come to school because of our hair not cooperating, and nobody really wants to come to school with a bad hair day, you know. And it would also add more cultural diversity that we don't really see much in our school system. And I am under the understanding that the reason that the hats are not allowed in the school is because it covers your face from cameras. But with bonnets, do-rags, and head wraps, they don't cover your face. They stay just about right here at your hairline, and they don't cover your face at all. That's about it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if there are any questions you may have, now would be a good time.
Did you guys poll other students to see what the feeling was in regards to the, the headwear?
So I know from specific experience that I've had with other students, specifically African Americans or other races, that they don't see the problem in having a head covering that doesn't cover your face. I realize that like ball caps and baseball hats, they do cover your face, so you wouldn't be able to be seen properly on camera. But as she stated, the head coverings they would be wearing wouldn't cover past your hairline, and they're usually somewhat tight to your head. So it wouldn't be something that would be a security hazard as somebody wearing a low baseball cap, as it would be just something to cover their hair.
No opposition? I mean, did you get other students that said, if you guys can wear that, can we wear our hats? Did you have those conversations?
I personally have.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I was just asking, if you kind of went back and forth over the, the pros and cons on it. It's okay if you didn't.
Well, with head wraps, it could be also considered as like the stylish bandanas and stuff like that. So that could be included in that list.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
And we discussed this on a Zoom call about 2 weeks ago, and I explained that the principal and I, the dress code was approved as part of the student code of conduct by the board, so we can't just arbitrarily say what isn't or what can't be enforced. We have to uphold what's in the code of conduct. So I suggested that she show up tonight, and I appreciate you showing up to speak. I know it's not easy standing up and speaking in front of this stage, and you did a great job. But I told her this would be how we would have to start that conversation. First, it would have to be brought to the board's attention, and then the board would have to decide if they wanted us to review it with students, and we could do that at the student advisory team group if you all would like, to get additional feedback and then make a recommendation, possibly at our next board meeting about altering the student code of conduct.
Wasn't there a committee specifically for dress code at one point in time? Yeah. Should this be referred back to that committee to
That's a great suggestion.
To explore.
Could I ask that you serve as a student representative on that committee, since I chaired that committee in the past? I would love to have your input.
So can you convene the committee, reconvene it sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks before the next board meeting okay. So hopefully we can have a recommendation from the committee before the next board meeting.
Yeah, you're perfect.
All right, thank you very much.
Oh, congratulations.
Tyour
by the way, on your win
How's your
over the
leg?
weekend.
So I went to Adam, who's our athletic trainer today. He told me that I have partially torn it, but not all the way.
Okay.
So we're doing good in that regard. It'll be a couple weeks before I'm back in action in any capacity. So, but other than that, I'm proud to have been able to represent Pulaski County well.
Yeah.
Although I didn't quite get what we were looking for, but I went as far as anyone else has.
Closer than 99.9% of them.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, we
Yep.
were proud.
I believe it's me and one other individual who have placed as high as we did.
Okay. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Considering your injury, yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
And next up is an information item on the Cougar Scholars Program. Dr. Sears?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have been discussing this for the last few months. It actually came from a recommendation from our board chair a few months ago that Governor Youngkin has challenged school divisions to try to come up with ways to increase the amount of dual enrollment classes that are offered at no cost to our families. And we know that we have a very robust dual enrollment program, but we weren't sure if we were maximizing it. And Ms. Cox suggested that we take a look to see what we could do to try to increase the number of students at no cost to families who graduate with an associate's degree. And so we have taken a look at that and have a kind of a tentative plan to put out for discussion this afternoon or this evening. And if the board wants us to proceed with trying to pull it all together, then we will take those next steps to make that happen. And first, I will ask that Ms. Suma and Ms. Atkinson come forward.
Good evening. And as Dr. Sears mentioned, this is something that we've been looking into. We've formed a committee and had several conversations, both as PCPS representatives and with various deans at New River Community College to see how we can proceed. Also, as Dr. Sears said, it's a part of Governor Youngkin's initiative to try to ensure that all high school students have the opportunity to pursue an associate's degree or an industry credential prior to graduating from high school. If we jump ahead a couple slides. So the third slide sort of goes over what would be required to earn a general studies associate degree. It is a 61 college credit requirement, and on this slide it's sort of broken down by subject, and we don't need to get into all of that, but there are certain requirements that you have to achieve in English, humanities, history and social science, math, natural sciences, and other. We already offered several of those at Pulaski County High School, as the fourth slide shows you. We, as of this school year, offer 48 college credits that would be transferable to four-year colleges, and those courses that we currently offer are listed on the fourth slide, from biology through Virginia's Teachers for Tomorrow. So we already had a good baseline with our conversations as to how we could expand the general studies program at PCHS. And we, Ms. Atkinson and I did a lot of digging to see what our current faculty could offer. We checked out transcripts, we had conversations with our current teachers, as well as Dr. Taubert Hurst, and
We've also found that we can volunteer our time, and as we get into kind of the suggestions or the ideas, we will be looking at some summer programs, and Ms. Suma and I would both be become dual enrollment instructors and assist with that process.
And so on the fifth slide, you see the courses that we intend to expand if this is something that we go after. We can offer Criminal Justice 2 as a dual enrolled course next year for 6 college credits. We have a teacher that has a master's degree in humanities, so we can offer a humanities course, which is a requirement for a general studies associate's degree. Mm-hmm. We also have a teacher, a faculty member who can teach music appreciation and music history, which could be pursued in lieu of the humanities as the required course. We have a teacher that can teach psychology on provisional. We are looking into expanding our math offerings, and as Ms. Atkinson was referencing, we are looking at a summer academy that she and I will be teaching to address 2 college credits in health and PE and college success skills.
that we will offer up our services and teach our students this summer if we pursue this program. With the addition of these courses, we will be able to offer 77 transferable college credits at Pulaski County High School. Of those 77 college credits, 55 of them would meet the 61 credit requirement for a general studies diploma. If you do the math, you see that there are 2 classes that we currently cannot offer. There are 2 that we would have to work in partnership with New River Community College. As of now, we do have some teachers that will be able to teach those, well, at least one of those 2 courses in the future. So the expansion was a little, I don't want to say easier than expected, but there were some pieces in place that just fell right in once we started looking.
If we do decide to move forward with this plan, the 2 courses that we are not able to offer are offered in person at New River Community College. So we could look at a plan to transport students to campus to take those classes. The other interesting piece is that both of these courses are also offered asynchronously in a virtual format. So we could look at having students take that course asynchronously, and out of their 4 blocks throughout the day, they could potentially take those 2 courses on site through virtual means with a paraprofessional or a teacher as the proctor for that class, because the New River Community College professor would be the one teaching the class.
And so we've drafted a potential course of study over the next 4 slides. I do put a disclaimer at the beginning of that because it's just a potential course of study. Every student is different and has different instructional needs, and so their courses might be in a slightly different order, but we wanted to have sort of a guideline to go from. Students that would participate in this program to pursue their associate's degree would kick it off in the summer before their junior year with the course that Ms. Atkinson and I would offer during summer school. It's a 2-week course that will cover their health and PE credit requirement along with their college success skills requirement. And we feel that it's just a really good way to jumpstart what's about to be a fairly rigorous program, helping them with time management skills and mental and personal health, coping skills to figure out all the time management and things that would be required to complete 61 college credits along with the high school diploma. And then on slide 2 of the potential course of study, you see what we think would be their junior year. There are multiple classes that we would end up offering for the first time next year if we do pursue this option. We currently have the English 11 already. We already offer U.S. History as a dual enrolled course. In order to meet the humanities or fine arts requirements, students would pick either the humanities course, which would be newly offered, or the music appreciation course, which is newly offered, which meet both the humanities or fine arts 3 credit elective requirement, as well as 3 transferable credits they would also earn in that course. We would also be offering for the first time a dually enrolled psychology course, which is Intro to Psychology along with Developmental Psychology, which would help out our healthcare students. Students pursuing nursing are often encouraged to take a developmental psychology course. And then there are 2 math sequences that we can offer. Students can pick which one best fits their needs, either a statistical pathway or a calculus pathway. Students would also need to complete chemistry because it is a requirement for the dually enrolled biology courses that they would take their senior year. And then there are a few open blocks where they could pursue sequential electives if they have not met that requirement yet, or any type of career-centric courses or electives that piqued their interest. So that's their junior year. If students meet all the requirements and they've passed the courses and they're being successful in our Cougar Scholars program, that following summer before their senior year would be when they would take the 2 courses that we would have to pay for them to take at New River Community College. And those courses, as Ms. Atkinson pointed out, are public speaking and Intro to Digital and Information Literacy. And then the 4th potential course of study slide would be their senior year. We actually currently offer all these courses already with the exception of criminal justice, which would be offered for the first time next year. And you can see which ones are, how they meet the different general studies requirements on the left-hand column. As you get toward the bottom, you'll see that there are some choices that students can make in order to meet those 61 credits. They could take a combination of electives to fit their needs. There are also some ways that they might be able to bypass some of these transfer electives with by pursuing AP courses in their sophomore year, but I think that our other counterparts are going to discuss that later. And then my favorite slide, when you get to the next slide, you see the breakdown of how many courses we're able to offer. We offer, if we pursue this program, as of this moment, if we have the same faculty that we currently have teaching these courses, we would be able to offer 90% of the courses for students to earn a general studies diploma. Only 9.8% of those courses would have to be taken in conjunction with New River, meaning that only $939.30 would have to be spent on those classes, which is 1/10 the price of an associate's degree. So we are saving families quite a bit of money if they pursue this option. And you probably noticed I said Cougar Scholars, but we're not quite sure what we want to call it. So Ms. Atkinson took a poll.
So, yeah, the name Cougar Scholars was what we started with the brainstorming, but the committee gave some suggestions, and we thought that we would share that with the board and ask for some assistance in naming the program if we decide to go this route. So the suggestions were Blue Ridge Academy, Early College Academy, Dual Pathways Academy, Legacy for Tomorrow, New River Academy, Pathway, or PC, Pathway to Associates, and P2A, Pathway to an Associates. So those are all suggestions, but the committee is also open to other ideas and names.
Do you have any questions about the course of study? Other members of the committee are going to come up and explain other pieces, but anything from the PowerPoint or the courses that you would like clarification on?
I just want to say that the summer courses, I think both of those are offered as asynchronous online courses at New River in the summer. And I'm just going to say, it's been my experience with the students that I have, you almost have to be open to taking a virtual asynchronous class at least once during the semester, because it's the only thing that'll fit in your schedule. So it's good to get that training. I know people have had terrible experiences with online learning, but it's pretty good to get that training under your belt before you go to an actual college that you're paying for and have to take a class online.
That is a valid point. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to say they have probably spent upwards of 100 hours working on this over the last few months, trying to put a plan together, figure out what we have, and analyzing transcripts, and I appreciate all the work that went into getting us this far in the process.
Yeah, you can tell.
Let's see, next we will hear how students will be recruited and selected. Ms. Pratt and Ms. Vest.
Hello. So Ms. Pratt and I were charged with recruitment and selection for this program. And recruitment, we figured this year for the inaugural program, we would look at starting with the AP and honors classes, directly speaking to those students because of the time restraints. We also were still working with registration. We would start bringing this about to the forefront of those students so they're aware of the program. We would develop a brochure for information item. Of course, we would put it in the course catalog for future reference, and then we would do targeted call-outs, reminds, Facebook messages, announcements, Canvas, all those things when we actually get to the time of application. So we would do a lot of things that would drum up interest in the program and make sure students are aware of what's available to them and how it could benefit them. So Ms. Pratt's going to talk a little bit about the selection once that happens.
Good evening. So we have developed an application that we hope has been designed to be inclusive, but also
setting students up for success. We recognize that this is a rigorous program, a rigorous course load of college-level courses, and when students take dual enrollment courses, they begin to build their college transcript and their college GPA, and that plays a significant role as they move on to higher education after high school, because that GPA can impact their access to financial aid. So we certainly want to meet the minimum requirements that New River has for students to be enrolled in a dual enrollment course, and then also make sure that we are setting students up to be successful in this program. Once applications are submitted, they will be reviewed by a committee of school counselors, school board personnel, school board office personnel, administration, and our department chairs. And then we do have a rubric that we've developed to guide our admissions decisions. Once those students are selected into the program, we would schedule a meeting with those students and parents to select courses, and then also discuss program expectations and just make sure that students are prepared for what is coming next. Do you all have any questions for us? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next, Dr. Legg and Ms. Bowling will be talking about how we will have to work this into the master schedule.
Good evening. Dr. Legg and I got the opportunity to work through how all of these courses would work into what is already an existent plan for developing a master schedule at the high school. So we, in talking, decided it might be beneficial for you to also know that at a lot of high schools, they create a master schedule, and then each year they plug the students into that master schedule. You'll offer X number of sections of each course, the students fall into those sections, etc. At Pulaski County High School, and for decades, to my knowledge, we instead register the students, get the course numbers, the preferences and the needs for each student and each course we offer. Then based on that, we build a master schedule with that number of sections. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about that? Okay. So we build it differently. So one of the questions Dr. Sears asked the other day was, how would you take all of these courses and put them into our master schedule? So when Dr. Legg and I were meeting, and we talked about how it's initially started with to begin with, then one of the next things you're going to have to look at is that Power School kind of spins a wheel. You put all these things in, our school counselors meet with students, plug in the requests and the preferences, and then Power School, after Dr. Legg works some magic that none of the rest of us totally understand, it schedules all of those students. Then the counselors go through and make sure that each student got the courses that they need, that are required for them, etc. And then that would also lead into these students who are going into a different course of study from what is just required for the high school. Then based on that, as you know, each teacher teaches 3 sections each semester. So we have 4 blocks. Each teacher teaches 3 of those sections. One of those is for planning block. So what we would have to do is the number of sections we have with a total number of teachers, we would essentially, we've offered so many that we would only have to take 5 of those sections from what we have in place already and allocate those for the courses that we're adding. And I did tell Dr. Sears today, we talked, one of the worst case scenarios, if you will, is if we were to look at offering a 4th section. So if a teacher already has to teach 3 sections, we have enough students that need that course, but that particular teacher can also teach the course required for Cougar Scholars, then we would look at somehow compensating that teacher to take on an extra section so that all students get what they need, plus these students have access to the courses that we're trying to put into the master schedule. And I believe that leads into just some of the master schedule constraints. We're not trying to paint the negative picture of it. We just want to make sure that when we're trying to build this into what we already have, that you guys have all of that information.
Okay, good evening. So when I'm working on the master schedule, I start with some of the constraints that we have. So some of the things I think were mentioned earlier, like you have to have Algebra 2 before you can be enrolled in chemistry. So that's one of the things that I would put in there that Power School would automatically check for, things like that. So now some additional constraints would be the needs of these students and making sure that they get in the appropriate classes. And I don't get to say that this class will be offered during this block, and this class will be offered later in the day. It just, like Ms. Bowling said, it just kind of spits it out in the way that it works best for the most students. So basically, we're plugging things in and seeing how it comes out. But she also mentioned, the counselors do an excellent job already of working with our students to make sure that their needs are met, which is what they would do in this instance as well. The only other thing that I would mention is that multiple constraints can gridlock the power school. It can, it can say, oh, wait, this is not going to work at all. So then you just go back to the drawing board. So we could see some potential issues, but there have always been potential issues, and we've worked through those. So hopefully this would be something that we could just figure out as we go along.
I just wanted to add that once Dr. Legg, at the beginning of the summer months, once she has finalized that master schedule, she's put everything in that she can build, and then it outputs that schedule. We review that, and that's when I would say hand scheduling comes into play a little bit, where you're looking to see, did you offer all of these courses where none of them conflict, where you're not offering this course required first block one time, and that same block offering another course required at the exact same time, which would not allow those students to participate in those courses.
One example of that we discussed, because we would want our governor school students to have this same opportunity, and they're getting all the math and science at governor school in the morning, so we would try to need to possibly hand schedule our master schedule in a way that most of our math and science dual enrollment are offered in the morning as well, and then the afternoon classes could be the humanities or social studies, the other classes they would need in order to be able to finish the associate's degree program.
Yeah, perfect.
Dr. Legg and Ms. Vest, and I believe Ms. Pratt, got together and they created a sample schedule for the junior and senior, well, for freshman through senior year, for a student who did not take Camp Cougar, a student who took one summer of Camp Cougar, and a student who took both summers of Camp Cougar. So you can see how many areas that leaves for electives. That definitely, the electives would fall second in scheduling to what the academic courses required are. But we have that, and I can give that to Dr. Sears, but I believe Dr. Legg had one more thing to add.
That was it. Basically, we already have an issue at times with electives because a student may need to take a dual class, and the elective that they want to take is only offered at that time. And so from what I understand, acceptance into this would be that their academics would be their first choice. So there may be an issue with getting the electives, the specific elective that they want, but as you know, we offer a large variety of electives for them. So hopefully they could find something that they liked.
And I think thank y'all, and I think it's important to note too that students do not necessarily have to be working on the associates to also take advantage of these dual enrollment classes. If they don't want to commit to the summer program, or maybe it's a drama student who doesn't want to, staying in drama class is more important than graduating with an associate's, they could still take advantage of as long as they meet the qualifications for the community college, they could still take advantage of as many of the dual enrollment classes as they would like.
For the credits.
Did you have questions for us?
No, I don't.
I'll give the sample schedule.
Thank you. I wish they'd had that when I was at school. Seriously.
Question?
No, I just said, I wish that was available
Okay, as
when I was in school.
far as the next item regarding this is just policy implications, and I contacted Elizabeth Ewing, the attorney with VSBA, and one of the policies that's on the I don't know if it's on this agenda or not, but the February policy updates pertains to this particular issue. She said we could draft it, and she would be willing to help do that and add it to that policy. But she also recommended that instead of putting it in policy, that we might just want to establish it as an approved protocol, and that way, because it can change on a state superintendent's memo how to award dual enrollment credits. It would allow for easier change in the future if we just have it as a protocol and don't have to go through the full policy change process. But I told her I would bring it up, and she said either way would be fine, but she would recommend that we do it as a protocol instead of in policy. And it's basically stating that a 3-credit college class can be, can meet the guidelines for dual enrollment credit. So is everyone fine with that just being a protocol that, okay, we'll put something together on that before we make all of this official, assuming the board wants us to pursue this.
And all these courses would be transferable to other Virginia four-year universities?
Yeah. So
Some would.
Correct. So the Transfer Virginia is the online portal that the Commonwealth is building to make sure that credits transfer. And through the process of looking at the courses that we offer, there's 2 different students that we'll be looking at meeting the needs of. So the first is the student who starts at the beginning of the program, makes it all the way through and graduates high school with their associate's degree. If you earn an associate's degree from a Virginia community college system, those credits all transfer. But one of the things that we've found in researching the different courses is that our dual enrollment courses that we're currently offering are not accepted in every school. So we're going to be looking at revising some of those dual enrollment offerings. For example, our English 200 series, so the senior English course, this coming year, we are going to leave it as is, but we've spoken with Ms. Melton, and she's going to work on revising that course so that the students who don't go through the full associate's program are still getting those guaranteed transfer credits. So it's helped us become better with our dual enrollment offerings in researching this opportunity for our students.
Is she going to have to take that 243 and 244 and combine it into a 245?
So I'm not sure on the specifics. We do have the course numbers, and I apologize. There's a lot of community college numbers. Oh, Ms.
No,
Lewis
I'm
got
just
it.
wondering because I just did that over the summer, and I'm happy to give her all of my material so she's not starting from scratch.
245 and 225 is the combination that we're currently looking at.
245, yeah.
So
It's when you teach
we
14
will
centuries
take
of
your
British
help.
literature in 14 weeks.
And it's
Yeah.
currently being taught at some other high schools in the New River Valley, so we have a cohort of teachers that can support with that change.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, that's good. The Transfer Virginia has, upended a lot of people's, what they've been teaching for years, and we've had to really reevaluate and change a lot of things, so. But it's good. Change is good.
It is good, and I will say that the teachers that we've spoken to through this process have been really receptive, especially when we talk about making sure that the credits do transfer. So we've been looking at it from every angle that we possibly can.
I mean, that's the whole point of Transfer Virginia is working with the 4 years in order to make sure everything from the community college transfers. So no credits, no financial aid, nothing is wasted.
And that will also help with the policy that Dr. Sears referenced. So we won't be offering, 6 credits of college credit just for the sake of offering them. Everything that we're offering is intentional and working towards either the required areas or those 15 dual enrollment elective credits that can be based on a student's interest.
It's a solid plan, and thank you.
Thank you.
So what was the reason for not wanting the Cougar Scholars name?
It just didn't sit well with us. We thought that we could be more creative and come up with something. We liked the idea of tying it to our school division motto with the pathways to a brighter tomorrow, and wanted to try and tie that in just to kind of point towards our overall vision as a school division.
I'll just go ahead and voice my opinion. When I see Blue Ridge Academy, I think of Blue Ridge Community College. And when I see New River Academy, I think of, the Police Academy for one, and the New River Technical College, I believe is what it's called, in West Virginia.
In West Virginia.
We can strike those. I'm fine with that.
I kind of liked Cougar Scholars.
I like the Cougar Scholars. I liked it.
And I received an email over the weekend, actually, from a student asking about this, and he's here this evening. Colin, would you like to speak to it? Colin Hall is the sophomore class president, and he's on the student advisory team, and it might be good to get student feedback on
Well, I'm hoping that we're gonna go over it a little bit more Wednesday in our student advisory meeting, but I guess some of my questions would probably be if you would rather take an elective class than one of the classes that they offer already, would you have to take that class asynchronously, over online during that time while you're taking these classes in school, or would you have to do that during the summer, or what?
So with the plan that we presented, if you chose to do an elective class over one of the required classes for the associates, then the individual would have to work with their school counselor to understand that they would have to take that class on their own.
Mm-hmm.
What this plan is trying to do is to provide the most cost-effective way for a student to earn an associate's.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if there's something out there that is more important than earning the associates at that time, we want to respect the student and the parent's decision on the classes that they've taken.
And then also, are you able to still graduate with the same, what is it, advanced diploma? Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, that's all my questions are.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you very much.
So it doesn't require official action, but I assume there's consensus on the board that we move forward with trying to offer this for our sophomores.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we will put the finishing touches on it and start working on the master schedule then.
Start working on
Yeah.
a good name.
Yeah.
Like Cougar Scholars.
Like Cougar Scholars.
All right, so we're up to, if I got my pages right, the budget analysis. Correct? I'm sorry, I got this big, beautiful flower over here, and I can't see in the corner.
Yeah, I can't see that one.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the school board. Just wanted to provide a brief budget analysis for the current year. Of course, this goes through January, which would leave 41 2/3 of the percent of the budget year remaining. On the revenue side, our basic aid payments have been based on our budgeted ADM of 3831. However, beginning in January, those are reduced to reflect the fall enrollment of 3796. So that will begin to decrease a little bit the basic aid payments. However, the state sales tax payments are ahead of budget at this point in the year. And then many of the other state revenues that come from lottery funds only just begun in January as well. So they'll catch up throughout the remaining 5 months of the budget year. The major expenditure areas are much closer to budget for this point in the year than in past years. Operations and technology, and this has been the case for a couple months now, are a little bit over budget, primarily due to some annual costs or large costs that have just occurred, and it will take time for in the budget year for those to correct itself. But those are really fine. I will say that this year has been more challenging than in any of the prior years I've experienced, just due to the amount of federal funds we have tied up in reimbursements due to the ESSER funds. And of course, that's going to continue through September 2024. But just to give you an example, I guess I approved a reimbursement to go to VDOE to make its way through the process last week, and that reimbursement was over $800,000. That was tied up for the month of December in expenditures for our ESSER 2 grant, and then we have to wait several months for that money to be paid to us. So just managing that alone is more significant than in any years past that I've ever experienced. So, however, the good thing I think with the ESSER 2 grant is that the majority of that money currently is being spent on a large HVAC project in several of our schools, and that project's going to be coming, we think, to an end closer to the end of the school year. And so hopefully we can wrap that up prior to, and get those reimbursements completed before the end of the fiscal year. And then our ESSER 3 projects, the door project and the roof project, will just really get started at the end of May. So we won't have to pay those progress payments to the contractors and tie up that money. I guess what I'm trying to say is we don't want to have money tied up at the end of the fiscal year and then, have that be an issue for us in terms of how we finish the budget year. So it's just being able to manage that and to make sure we don't have any too much money tied up in reimbursements. However, that's just an aside. But as far as how we look like on our counting money, approximately $6.1 million in local funds are available for the remainder of the fiscal year. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Yeah, thanks, Chris. A facilities update, Mr. Schull.
Our work order numbers this month are 182. I apologize for not having an official report, but I was off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of last week, so I didn't get it to Ms. Porter.
That is no reason.
Anyway, Chris is right. We're efforting to get the large HVAC project done. I was going to talk about it to Ms. Bowling. They've given me a new deadline for that, so apparently there's a chance that prom might be in the gym, so I have been told to clean up before then. So we're going to try. I don't know. We've made good headway there. We're back into the locker room units now. We got one more mechanical room to set units in, and then it's down to piping, electrical, and controls to make it all work. So the goal is to maybe have them air conditioning for prom in the gym, if prom has to be in the gym. So that's where that project stands.
So there's not air conditioning currently?
No, sir. No, sir.
Mr. Hurst and I were at the top of the gym watching the girls play the other night, and it felt like cool air coming down.
That's outside air.
Okay.
That's outside air. Yeah. When the heat shuts off in the gym, it'll pump outside air in to make sure that you're still getting air changeover and oxygen. So if you got like a 56-degree night, it's going to feel like air conditioning being pumped out, but it's just pumping in fresh air. And then once it meets the fresh air load, it'll start stepping the damper back, so you're not pumping in as much outside air.
I thought the air conditioning was already working.
No, sir. No, sir. The chiller is not hooked up yet. You got good old natural O2.
Does the prom committee know that?
Yeah. Any other questions about any other of the projects we have going on? I'll be glad to answer. I would say maybe May or June would be another good time to do a full-scale project update. We might be a little further along by that point. Everything's still generally where it has been the last update I gave.
Okay. So the operations center?
Yeah, it's still about there. I mean, I'm hoping to get the final on it this week. I'm hoping we get the final on it this week.
That's great, having moved from stuff from both of the middle schools that we turned over to the county when we left those, and then coming out of the place that we rented.
Yeah, we are out of 109. Yeah, that's correct. We are no longer paying rent. So it's $1,300 a month that we're saving. I think that we started not paying rent last month. So
awesome.
Yeah, we are out of 109.
Great to have our own space.
It is fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
School board listening tours, Dr. Sears?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, this is something that we have batted around for a little while, and it's based off of the concept of the listening tours that I do every fall, going out to each school, but also other school divisions have done. I know in Bland County they do something similar, and since receiving parent input has become kind of a hot button political issue, and we certainly want to know what our parents think about our schools and listen to their suggestions and open a dialogue with them. We thought maybe the best way to handle that would be to schedule 2 board members based out of each elementary school for a listening tour where parents could call and schedule a 15 or 20-minute block of time to come in and meet and discuss really anything they want to discuss, ask questions about anything they want to ask. And of course, the 2 board members would be there. And with it only been 2 board members, then it would not be a public meeting, so parents could feel free to discuss things, and they would be kept in confidence. It wouldn't have to be brought to the public front. And the principal of the elementary school and I would be there, but we don't have to be in for those meetings. If the parents want to address things with us present too, then we would be available for that. But if they just want to meet with the school board members, then that would be fine as well. And I think what we need to determine is kind of a time frame for when we want to do these, and then we can just work out a schedule as to which 2 board members will be at which elementary schools, if this is something you would like for us to pursue.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure.
It's kind of like parent-teacher conferences, except with your school board member.
Yes. And would you prefer that the timing be before the end of this school year or to kick off the 23-24 school year?
I would say both, but
I'd like to go ahead and get the conversation started.
Okay. So we will look at possibly scheduling them maybe for once we return from spring break in that time frame, the end of April and the beginning of May, if that'll give us time to advertise it and make sure that we have a system in place for parents to sign up to come in and speak with you. So I'll send out some tentative dates, and we'll see what works with your all schedule and try to put a calendar together for this, and then we'll make that calendar public at the March meeting.
all right, thank you very much. And calendar items?
Okay, tomorrow night, our girls will be hosting Jefferson Forest in the region semifinal game. They're impressive to watch. If we win tomorrow, and more than likely Louisa will win, we will have to go to Louisa for the region championship on Friday. If Louisa doesn't win and we win, then we would be hosting the region championship this Friday. But we watched them the other night against, who was it we played Friday? EC Glass, that was a tight game last year for the region championship, and honestly, we could have won that game by 80 points without trying too hard. It's the girls, they seem to really be clicking right now.
And they are collecting sneakers at that game, correct?
I'm sorry, what is it?
The track program.
Okay.
Yep, it's a drop-off though for tomorrow, right? Okay.
Does it matter what kind of shape the sneakers are in?
Okay. They will use or recycle.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got the VSBA training in Charlottesville on March 5th, the VSBA Hot Topic Conference in Withville on March 15th, and the CPE Opportunities Fair is on March 15th. Parent-teacher conferences on Thursday afternoon of March 16th, and Professional Development Day. Schools are closed on the 16th and 17th of March. Professional Development Day on the 17th.
All right. A very dull moment on the calendar. And we come to the action items. The first one up is the summative evaluation revision.
Yes, and this was presented, Mr. Atwood, go ahead and come on up, but this was presented a couple months ago, and then there were questions because some of the information was missing from VDO's website. We weren't certain if it was still a requirement or not, so we pulled it and waited till we could consult with our attorneys, and what we were told was that VDOE does not seem to, this is no longer an initiative that they're putting a lot of effort toward, but the state code never changed. And in order to be in compliance with state code, we do need to have this as standard 6 if they can, if the General Assembly will change state code, we believe that VDOE will remove this as a requirement, but until that happens, we have to have it included on our evaluation instrument. And if you remember, what we did in putting this together, or what Mr. Atwood did with his team of teacher advisors, was really just come up with a way for teachers to do a self-evaluation on this. It was not anything that we were going to make a high-pressure item, just give the teachers the tools to evaluate their own level of comfort and their own progress on this particular measurement. And Mr. Atwood.
Okay, that's basically what I had in the notes. Number 6 is the new standard that was actually put in place 2 years ago in March of 2021. Since then, of course, we know there have been some changes at the VDOE and in state government. And so our thinking is that this standard may not be permanent, and it seems to be, some of the information about it has gone from the website, but as Dr. Sears stated, it's still a part of state code. So for the next 3 years, we are looking at number 6 as a self-evaluative item. If it's there 3 years from now, we'll change that to being evaluated by the administrators, but during the time that it's becoming permanent or being made obsolete, we will let the teachers self-evaluate. And we're just asking for your approval of number 6. The rest of the instrument remains close to or exactly the same as it has been. Number 7 and number 8 were dropped down, and number 6 was inserted, is the change.
Any questions? Do I have a motion to approve Standard 6 for summative evaluation?
Madam Chair, I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Golden. Ms. Porter?
Ms. Golden?
Yes.
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 Thank you. Any future agenda items? Board have any desires for future agenda items? Thank you. If you think of any, just send your thoughts to Dr. Sears. And we come to the second recognition of citizens, where there is an opportunity for public comment. Persons may present ideals or concerns regarding Pulaski County Public Schools. The school board at this meeting will take no action. Items presented by citizens may be referred to the superintendent for research, who may report back to the school board at a subsequent meeting or through other communication. If you wish to comment about individual employees or their performance, please present your comments first to the superintendent. Such matters will not be discussed during an open board meeting. Please come to the podium and state your name.
Thought my boots were going to make me tall enough this time, not quite. I'm Hazel Wines. I'm in the Ingalls District. Dr. Sears, Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to address you tonight. I'm going to throw a couple things at you rapid fire. The first is the student representative who was discussing the hair wraps. I really hope that that's something that's taken into consideration, and not to make any assumptions about anyone's hair care routine, but I'm going to guess the vast majority of us in this room have not gone through the process of hair care for 4C type hair and other types of textures. It's a lot of work. It can also be very expensive, which is not really related, but it's a lot of work. I would really encourage you, a quick Google search, hop on YouTube, look at what even some of the basic protective styles, the amount of time they can take. That was a very legitimate concern, and I hope that's taken seriously. I'm sure it will be. Next, I want to say thank you very much and really congratulate you guys on the work that you've done to communicate with parents over the past year especially, but even before that, I know it's been a topic for a while. Communication with parents and with the community has improved greatly. Mr. Gravely's doing a great job from what I've seen. So that's something that the community has noticed and they are appreciative of. And lastly, I'm going to say a thing that I've said to you guys before, but I think it bears repeating. We continue to educate, particularly our elementary and middle school children, very much in the same way that their grandparents were educated. And it is time for a revamp. And I know that's something that's not completely within your control. But when we see, especially tonight, when we saw all of these wonderful high school level programs and offerings and the way that we've tried to connect the high school education with the real world experience, with the child's real life, with the real life of their parents and how they fit into the community, seeing that at the elementary school level, while it would look different, it wouldn't look like college dual enrollment courses, it's still a thing that needs to be thought about from that preschool age on. A lot of the push, at least in my lifetime, in my memory, where I'm paying attention to things like that, a lot of the push to change the way that high school education is done across our state came from dropout rates. We were seeing dropout rates far higher, and this is not Pulaski County, again, this is a problem all over, far higher than they needed to be, than they should have been. And in response to that, we've seen schools catch up. We've seen the VDOE catch up and say, we've got to give something different. And I'm very much afraid we're going to see, if we haven't already, I haven't looked at enrollment numbers lately, we're going to see a similar trend with elementary school. We're going to see parents not sending their children for those first few very critical years, where the classroom should be an option. Homeschooling is always valid. It's a thing that I support, but for some kids, the option isn't there. To be in the classroom, to be supported, to get an education the way that they should. And we also know that very little that's done within public elementary schools is developmentally appropriate. We have the research that shows that a classroom sitting environment, even the best classroom sitting environment with the best educator, is not developmentally appropriate. And there are a lot of things that are not within the control of this board, but there are some things that are, and you guys are the ones with the connections to the state, to other school systems. And I think if there were a way to bring all of that together, to bring the educators, to bring the boards, to bring the superintendents together, and bully the state, frankly. I was trying to think of a nicer way to say that. Okay. Thank you so much.
Hey, if you would reach out to me, call me so we can discuss that. I would love to hear more of your ideas.
Yeah,
to
I
see
would
what
love
we
to
can
hear.
do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Please state your name, and I didn't say it before Ms. Wine spoke, but it is 3 minutes.
My name is Rodney Farmer. I'm out of the Draper District. I've been a bus driver in this county for 40 years. And I've got 3 questions I wonder if y'all could answer for me. Is the red light still on the agenda for this school? And if so, where will it be? And what is the status on the access road here behind the middle school?
Rodney, you and I believe you went to school.
Yes, sir, sure did.
So, those are all, honestly, those are all questions for the Board of Supervisors.
Okay.
We've got a road right now out here that goes to nowhere.
That's what I say. It's about 100 yards from, and it's going to relieve a lot of pressure. I mean, there's an accident waiting to happen right out here at this entrance. I tell you, buddy.
And it's, I don't know exactly where they're at in the process. I know it's on their radar.
Okay.
But it truly, it's a question for the Board of Supervisors.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully that will get asked at the next Board of Supervisors meeting.
I will declare on the agenda next. Thank you all very much.
Anyone else? And no, you cannot retire.
Madam Chairwoman and members of the school board, I'd like to take this opportunity this evening, first of all, to express my gratitude for Pulaski County Public Schools and the awesome career I've had. I'm just truly grateful. And also tonight I'd like to introduce my successor, Ms. Jessica Morrison. Jessica has worked in school nutrition in Pulaski County a few years ago, and I feel very confident that she will carry this program well and she will move it forward and just keep on the excellent work that we've always tried to do. So I wanted you all to meet her.
Ms. Morrison, you have big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Very big shoes to fill.
Yeah, we're looking.
No pressure.
Looking forward to
Thank
working
you.
with you. Thank you.
Thank
Kathleen.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening. My name is Heather Peasley. I'm here to address an issue that happened today. No names really mentioned other than it was my daughter who was dress coded at school today. And my issue is not really with being dress coded, because I think all girls have that happen at some point in their life, like, oh, you raise your arms and it's too short or something, because like when she left the house she had nothing showing, just because I would be upset with that as well. But the issue being that she was embarrassed in front of everyone in the hallway, not like, hey Caroline, can you come here real quick? We need to call your mom and get her to bring you a shirt. But these girls, she's in 8th grade, they are very sensitive, and I feel like something should have been done a little bit better. Go ahead.
No, it's your time. I'll wait.
Oh, no. She's, I mean, girls are drama queens, and they take things in 8th grade especially. It's been awful. Everything is just the biggest deal in the whole world. And she was like upset that she was dress coded, but it wasn't really the dress code. It was just being embarrassed in front of all of her peers. And these kids are horrible. They bully each other every day. I'm sure you hear about how bad the bullying is in the schools. They don't need a teacher to give them ammunition to use against another student. And I was just wondering if there was any way we could just like set up some type of protocol, like if there is someone that needs to be addressed, hey, let's take them to the office, or like just kind of get them to the side, as opposed to be like, hey, what are you doing? What are you wearing? Do you have anything else to wear? I just thought it was inappropriate, and as teachers, the kids should feel comfortable coming to you about things, and instead, like, she doesn't want to go to school, and she's a straight A student, and I'm just really upset for her, so I thought I should come tonight.
Dr. Sears, do you want to address any of that, or you want to talk with her later?
I agree. If we're trying to correct the student's behavior, it shouldn't be done in front of others, and we'll have conversations about that.
Yes, well, we came to the school board today, just so, like, I had her just come the way she was dressed so that you could see, like, I'm not saying it was the most appropriate outfit I've wore, but I leave at 6 a.m., so I didn't get to be like, what are you doing? But at the same time, it was more about how it was addressed than anything.
I have a question about the term you used, dress coded.
Yeah, that's just what
I have not witnessed that, and, you know, it's been years since I might have ever been in a place to experience that. Is there a, like, you line them up and they're dress coded every day? Or is this the process that also includes the embarrassment?
It definitely felt pinpointed. I will say that there's a picture of a girl on Pulaski County Middle School's page with leggings and a crop top on. And my daughter did not have a crop top on and had leggings. So it felt, I don't know, like it'd be different if every student as they came in, it was like, no, go to see the counselor. No, you know, as opposed to a parent addressed me and they're like, my daughter's wearing almost the exact same thing your daughter is wearing today. And I was like, well, I mean,
The issue that she raised her arm and her stomach showed.
she had her coat on and said that she wasn't facing this particular person at the time, so I really don't know. I don't know. I think it could have definitely been handled a lot better, and I don't like to get ugly about things, but it seems that, I mean, she was bullied in 6th grade by a teacher, and she loved school before that point. But that teacher, the guidance counselor actually removed her from the room. I didn't even hear about it. They just called to tell me what had happened and that they had witnessed it and that they'd pulled her from the class. And now we're dealing with, this was an administrator doing this in front of everyone, where it seemed like pushing her down to boost her up is what it felt like. But the more issue is if we could just make it more like across the board. You don't address a girl in front of everybody, because, I mean, what can go for some can't go for others. And how are they to know? Like, she's like, well, Mom, my friends wear this all the time. Like, I wasn't showing anything. But I mean, if she raised her arms, probably. Like, that's what I told her. You probably, I would have brought you another shirt. But she was just so embarrassed. We just left for the day.
Did you meet with the administrator, Ms. Beasley?
I did not meet with the administrator.
Okay. I think, actually communication is key to everything, really.
Mm-hmm.
And and if you have an issue, then you should, naturally, you should be able to meet with the person that you have the issue with. So, and I apologize that you did not meet with the administrator. I would wish you had. There's, and I'm not disputing anything that you say.
No, I know.
What I am saying that there's always, and here's what we don't get in as a board as often, and is we don't get the benefit that there's always two sides to every story.
Right.
And I'm speaking from experience with one of my own grandchildren, who put me on the spot one time, and it turned out that he was in the wrong. But he put me on the spot. Now, I'm just saying that I hope in the future, maybe if we have an issue, that with any situation, that a parent can meet with the administrator, that to hopefully resolve the situation in a proper way. And if not, then I want the public to know this, that you can always go to your board member, and your board member will listen to you. I have never turned down, and I'll promise you, these board members as well, have never turned down a meeting with anybody from the public. I've had many private meetings with folks from the public, as well as meetings that I've brought Dr. Sears in as well. I'm sorry that your daughter went through this.
Well, yes, and I just want to say I'm not one of those moms who's not like, my kid just never does anything wrong, because they all do, and I'm the first to get on to her about that. Like, I was in a meeting when she messaged me this morning panicking, and I was like, what? And I'm like, what did you wear? Like, it was on her too. Like, her outfit could have been chose better. And I was just more upset about how it was handled. And yes, I should have went there, but I just figured that I was going to be too nasty to go there, because, in the heat of the moment, you get upset. Sure. And when your kids are upset, you're upset. So sure. I just found out about this meeting 10 minutes before it started, so I just drove down and said I would say something.
Again, I promise you, if you would like to meet with our superintendent of schools, if you would like to meet with the administrator as well, they'll be more than happy to accommodate.
Yes, absolutely. And whenever I left my number and stuff, so you could call whenever you could.
Okay, I didn't get your number, but they did say you stopped by while we were in a meeting.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's busy, I get it.
Yeah. But yeah, I would be happy to facilitate a meeting with you and the principal if you would like to discuss this issue. I think it's always better if these things can be discussed face to face instead of aired out on social media without both sides being known. It makes the situation much more difficult to work through when you start getting all these external pressures on it. And I think that's what happened today, and some of the stuff really got out of hand with the comments about the administrator. But she's a professional, and I think she would be very happy to meet with you to present to you what her perception of the incident was. It seems to vary quite a bit from what you're saying, and the truth is probably somewhere in between. I don't know, but the whole situation on both sides probably could have been handled a little better, I think, than it was.
Yes, I mean, I'm an overreactive parent. I get that. But as an administrator, you're held to a little bit higher standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I still, whether she was in the hall with her peers, because her peers actually told me the same exact story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. But thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others? All right, if there are no more concerns from citizens, does the board have anything to share? I think most of our, or some of our people who brought this stuff for us might have left, but just want to say thank you for the wonderful goodies, beautiful flowers, and to all the students that that helped put these together as well. Thank you all. And with that, we are adjourned.
Ms. Atkins.